Hello, Professor Bright here, and welcome back to the Sunless Sea. Now, a moment ago I just took the liberty of getting ourselves some claymen of our own, and then picking up some for London. And I've decided that we're going to be exploring just a little bit more. I mean, we only have 53 terror, which means we have 46 to work with. And I kind of want to see if there's perhaps another island a bit to the northeast. In fact, while I'm thinking of it, let me go to my officers. Hey, genial magician. Let's have a chat. Could proposition him, but that seems a bit rude. So, let's see about how a magician came to be an engineer, after a meal of salt pork and a glass of good grey fields. A drained glass. He gestures carefully with his hook. It makes card tricks difficult. But we know about mechanisms, we magicians. My specialty was mirrors, but there are principles in common. It was a good start, and I found that I needed to go to sea. Why? Because, citizen, someone owes me a hand. Once a friend, now an enemy. I'm looking for a weapon to use against them. If, once we find it, I may have a favor to ask you. Find a serpent image, continue the genial magician's story. It can be found in Irem, which is the island I want to find, and rarely in Venderbite and other places. Oh, hello. Are you something I need to worry about? You are not. But let's find the tides of appetite so my bat can find something else. Something useful, perhaps. Yes, I am complaining about the habits of a bat. What? It's Fallen London. And by Fallen London, I mean the Sunless Sea, which is in the setting of Fallen London. Look, it's a thing. Bats can be problematic. That's just how things are in this place. Also, the tides of appetite don't look too bad, actually. Oh, wait, is this the place with the skulls? Yep, the skull rocks. I almost forgot about them. Well, let's head a little bit further east. I'm imagining that Irem is going to be... I mean... if it's not south of the Chelenate, then it's got to be in this northeasterly corner. Somewhere. Liking the music still. The Empire of Hands? Well, I mean, it's no Irem, but... could always go for a stop. Do I want to do the full exploration this time, though? Yes, I kind of do. Because if I remember right, this unlocks some event with another explorer. And who knows, it might be fun. There's the Zeppelin in the bottom right-hand corner right here. And there's the port. Port Stanton. Delightful. And it's going to be a little bit of a trip. You know, that's an interesting question. Where did they first get... like, when did the first ape become ensouled, or gain the soul of people? A stern reminder from the Admiralty. In the name and by the power of Her Enduring Majesty, a trade embargo and quarantine in absolute perpetuity has hereby been declared on the Empire of Hands. 1. No ship of London is to permit aboard a Pentecost ape without express and prior permission of the Admiralty. 2. Any and all acts of spiriphage are prohibited. 3. They know what they did. Beware of stowaways, keep a tight grip on your soul. Excerpt from Standard Naval Regulations Volume 4. The flea-ridden mare. With the regulations in mind, it's a surprise to be greeted by a mere itchy monkey in a tattered yellow robe, barely walking with the help of a ceremonial staff. An official greeting. Hello, cries the mare, in the broken voice of one not yet used to human speech. Come, make selves at home, all souls welcome in bountiful Empire of Hands. The crew shifts uncomfortably. They know the stories. It'll take more than the natural beauty of this place to make more of them risk shore leave here. Well, Port Stanton. A little bit of shore leave, perhaps? A little bit of shore leave, I suppose. The parasynthetic jungle holds many dangers. Step carefully, there's no authority beyond the fence. It is a place of death, where the bones and still rotting carcasses of man and ape alike are left to the thirst of the sea. The charnel history of the Empire of Hands stretches out amongst the flies and the maggots of the apes who would be men and their stolen civilization. Something glints around the neck of a skeleton, a locket. You pocket it, though it does not look like it is worth much. The Z infamously takes much. Sometimes, though, it gives back. Perhaps this will prove to be such a time for some hopeful soul out there. Gain terror, though, that's a little bit worrisome. Now, let's have our audience. He's not busy, no appointments are required. He's the king of an empty castle. The flea-ridden mayor scratches himself on a chair made of crates, surrounded by boxes of long-rotten trade goods. As a 5-souled ape, he would be able to petition for membership of court. For now, the trade embargo has left him trapped on the outside, a 3-souled overseer with no talent for order. Could get ourselves some supplies. Not the worst of ideas. Selling our soul, though, I certainly think not. Let's see about getting our fresh supplies. Oh, it's just like home. 20 for that. Excuse ourselves, please. We'll poke around the shore, perhaps. Huh. The path through the jungle soon becomes dark and treacherous, the predatory eyes of desperate monkeys staring from behind every bush and tree. Exploring this island will have to wait for a more auspicious day. And of course the Zeppelin. Intense work is underway across the bridge. 2 monkey guards wielding rifles and rusty bayonets block the bridge. This is not for your eyes, outsider. Avert them. Walk away. Walk faster. Good human. Well, enough of that silliness. I said perhaps not. Thank you. Now we must sail the Empire of Hands. Unfortunately, there's not much to see. Sovereign Island here. A wooden palace stretches across the whole island. Passage to it lit by a field of tiny glim buoys. The heart of the Empire. Many boats circle the island, all keeping their distance. The one that gets closest is an extended rowboat painted in yellows, whites, and reds. 4 servant monkeys strain at the oars, while its true passenger sits in comfort behind a gauze curtain. Just for a moment, an eye catches yours, but only for a moment. It will not do for a high-souled ape to see something so beneath its notice. And we have nothing here, so back to the boat. Continue the sailing, the Ash Isthmus. Neither man nor ape claims this volcanic remnant between isles. Haunted, they say. Ridiculous. Of apes and monkeys, the trip offers a little time to think on the penties. Technically, they're monkeys rather than apes, but it is not tactful to remind them of this. To their high-souled faces, the accepted name is Pentecost Apes. In private, though, the bloody monkeys is about as common. It is, one might say, an ad hominoid insult. Delightful. We could enter the forest. Parasynthetic vegetation thrives in the Empire of Hands' fertile soil in cool humidity. I have a feeling this is going to end badly for me. Into the woods, wide natural paths run between clumps of trees, softly lit by a dim green glow, and the occasional glimmer of false stars through the canopy. Only the crackling of leaves and soothing sounds of water break the serenity of this volcano-forged paradise. Could hunt for supplies, or we could just relax. Sounds delightful. Steam and a hint of sulfur gently rise from a secluded natural pool, flanked by trees and mushrooms. A moment for yourself. You slip out of your itchy clothes and into the welcoming caress of hot, deep water. The salts and sweats of sailing life melt away as you simply float, bare and free. Above, false stars glimmer bright enough to be worth wishing on. All around, the glow of the trees cast ambient calm on the silent peace. How long has it been since you had a moment like this? Since London? Longer? Awesome terror. Let me think. Oh, a thought for our lover. What is the likely lass doing right now? Are you on her mind like she is on yours? Oh, those nights in Wolfstack docks. The noise, the passion, the delightful filth. The hot water hugs you tight as you remember her touch. Your last words before departing, that half smile, almost but not quite blossoming into completeness. How long will it be before you feel the touch of skin on skin once again? Awake to see her sleeping brow, always so furrowed, as soft and calm as the sea itself. Wait, what was that? Sounded like giggling? Ah. Yes, we remember this one. Caught. A tiny blonde girl perches, watching on a rock. Her innocent grin is spiced with mischievous glee. She moves like a monkey, but she giggles like an imp. At the look on your face at being caught bathing in her hot spring, and the one that floods onto it as she scoops up your clothes. Ah, dear me. Shipwrecked as a baby, raised by the Empire of Hands, she now plays between the worlds of ape and men, neither quite one nor entirely of the other. We will swim after her. Curse these relaxed limbs. The monkey foundling makes things interesting. She waits, grinning innocently, until you emerge from the hot spring with nothing but your strategically placed hands for modesty. Before you can get close enough, though, she bolts from her crouched position and into the forest on all fours, a scampering run that turns every rock and fallen tree into a springboard. Ah dear. Chase her down. Damn it, you can't return to your crew like this. Into the forest, the branches scrape against your skin, the damp mud squidges between your toes. There's no sign of the monkey foundling, but her tracks are easily followed. A forest clearing. The footprints lead here. She had not even attempted to hide them, as if she wants you to follow. Ouch. Your hand slaps to your stinging buttock. The little stone lands in the dirt as a familiar giggle comes from above. You look to see the monkey foundling dangling upside down from a branch by her legs, a blowpipe in hand and bag just out of your reach. Tantalizingly so. Taking a deep breath, you politely, very politely, request that she return your damned clothes now. The monkey foundling listens and gives it some thought, tapping her blowpipe against her lips as she decides. Say, please, she grins. Please, there, it is said. Pretty please? Could just throw a rock at her, but no. Pretty please, with an imaginary cherry on top if she likes. Pretty please? She adds, stifling a giggle. Pretty, please. Damn it, it is freezing. How much longer? Pretty, please. Your anguished plea echoes across the trees. A gift from the monkey foundling. You appear to have pretty pleased her, and she decides you deserve a reward. She fishes in her bag and generously throws you a sock. A single, solitary sock. She learns a few new swear words as she races off across the branches, near doubled up with laughter. I mean, we must pursue her, of course. We fail, mind you, but still. She moves effortlessly through the branches above. A trap. Your feet step into the coiled rope just as the monkey foundling cuts loose the counterweight and you feel yourself flying upside down into the trees. Of course she has traps. The wider empire has no shortage of would-be invaders, man and monkey alike. She sits back and enjoys the show as you flail around trying to get free before apparently taking pity on you. Pity, however, turns out to be casually, and without warning, cutting through the rope, dangling you in the air and sending you falling back with a surprised thump to the muddy forest floor. It knocks the air out of your lungs, but you are otherwise unharmed. She pauses for a moment to make sure before her grin spreads back again, and she races off to continue the game. The chase continues. The monkey foundling slides down a vine in front of you. She sticks out her tongue and scampers through a break in the trees. A marsh of terrible stench. It's a place that skunks would think twice of entering, if the Empire of Hands had such creatures. The monkey foundling, of course, is unconcerned, as much at home here as high in the branches or running through the forest paths. She almost dances effortlessly across a thin fallen tree that crosses the mire, surrounded by the foulest, bubbling mud that has ever invaded your nostrils. She balances in the middle, daring you to try to follow. And follow we will. If only. She wants to play? You'll play. Though the crossing is treacherous, particularly when one's hands are torn between modesty and balance. Well, about a 1 in 6 chance? 1 in 5? And we failed it. You slowly cross the marsh. It's slow going. Your muddy feet slide against the thin trunk as it buckles and strains under your weight. Inch by inch, step by step, you slowly make your way across, until, bored, the monkey foundling suddenly jumps up and down, hard. The tree rolls under your feet, your balance fails, you slip, tumble, are embraced by a marsh whose smell will never leave you. You fight to the surface, streaming brown and dripping green, violently coughing up a gagging throatful of the foul slime. The monkey foundling sits cross-legged in the safety of the trees, holding her nose as she points and laughs. Monkey foundling dances. She pirouettes on a tree stump, saluting as you approach. But there's an ambush. A screeching Pentecost ape drops from the branches. The shock on the monkey foundling's face makes it clear this is not part of her little game. Its rage is focused entirely on her, the ghost of the Ash Isthmus, and the bright soul with which it can uplift itself to glory. It limps from some traps earlier, its fur blood-soaked and glistening. It lunges at the monkey foundling, who half rolls, half falls off the stump, and yelps as it catches her by the leg. She rolls, shrieks her own howl as she lashes back with a kick that shatters fang and splits its lip. This only further enrages the frothing ape. It strikes. Of course we'll help her, because we are not heartless here. She meant you no real harm, she was only playing. Rock beats ape. You reach for a stone and bring it crashing down on the distracted ape's head. Its skull cracks, dampness spreading. It collapses to the ground, hard. It is not a child's face that looks up at you. Still, you reach a hand down. The monkey foundling just stares at it for a moment, something human returning as the adrenaline fades. For a moment, it almost looks as though she will take it, but no. She leaps up on her own, bounding away towards the dark safety of her jungle, and then stops, hesitates. She looks back and tilts her head, beckoning you to follow. It's a look that suggests the game is over, but perhaps not yet quite finished. A small hut in the middle of the forest. Is this where the monkey foundling lives? Why would she lead you here of all places? The monkey foundling herself is nowhere to be seen, but she has left you something. It sits outside the hut, carefully placed by a large happy face drawn in the black sand. A little prize for being such a good sport. Your clothes, however, are nowhere to be seen, of course. As the monkey part of her would no doubt demand, where would the fun be in that? Well, we return to the ship. There is no avoiding this any longer. An out-of-uniform experience. The crew reacts with the expected amount of sympathy to your naked return, which is to say exactly none. By the time you board the ship, every last crew member is on hand to see and cheer, with more than a couple letting off flares as impromptu fireworks. It is many, many days before the needling ceases and you are able to give an order without first scouring it for innuendo. On the plus side, it does boost at least the rest of the ship's mood while it lasts, and you have a new treasure for your collection. You have had worse days. Oh, we certainly have. Now about Fountainhead Island, ancient secrets peek out from the trees. Any may visit, but few penties ever bother to make the pilgrimage. It is a young but ancient empire. The Empire of Hands is hardly as old as they pretend, but mimicry and theft infuses their whole culture. If the penties have come to think that rulers should be buried in ancient temples, then it is ancient temples they will build. It would hardly be the first time their attempts to mirror humanity have entirely missed the point. A temple in the forest. In a clearing of parasynthetic trees looms an imposing structure of wood and stone, the Vault of the First Emperor. It stretches through the forest in a mix of stone and wood, its style at the mercy of the Pentecost ape's current whimsies and inspirations. It would take a dedicated team to break in and uncover its secrets. Perhaps we will bring one here later. For now we return to the boat. Perhaps there's someone in Fallen London who might be able to get to the treasures of this island. Oh, we know of one. And yes, Hearthsake Island. A thin pillar of greasy yet appetizing smoke rises from the only human settlement in the Empire. the Blumenbach Quarantine. The Admiralty has never stated precisely why it seeks to keep the Empire confined, though most opposition to it fades once said opposers actually encounter a Pentecost ape. They have been easy to corral, however. Though they do not lack wit, there is not an inventive bone in their hairy bodies, and no amount of stolen humanity has taught them the art of creating engines. Let's take a look at this lost treasure hunter. North for each city the bats are brought down. He wipes his brow. Have you seen a big X on the ground by any chance? I got these 4 map pieces that got me this far, and said X would mark the spot. But I can't find an X anywhere. He looks at the map sadly. Should be here, it says. Now where am I supposed to dig? He's too busy to talk right now, but he adds that he will be in the village later if you want to trade adventuring supplies. Don't try the meatballs, he warns, getting back to his search. You just don't want to do that. Let's approach the village, though. Greasy smoke and guiltily tempting aromas rise from a collection of huts around a long-beached pirate ship, and a field of pointedly impaled monkeys. Oh dear, an explosion almost takes off your head. Sorry about that, booms the boisterous pirate, lowering a smoking blunderbuss as bits of shattered tree rain down. New arrival, are we? Well, if you haven't got a tail, you're all right by me. He squints, momentarily suspicious. You don't have a tail, do you? Wouldn't put it past the thieving little buggers to go shaving one of their own. Would no fair play if it kicked him right up the arse. His voice is louder than his blunderbuss. The congealed meat juices in his thick beard are better not considered. Could dine at the captain's table. But will it decrease my terror? Let's find out. Actually, I think it'll increase it because these are cannibalistic pirates. Not gonna risk it. Return to the boat. They seem friendly sort, and are shocked at the idea that they would ever be such poor hosts as to eat a guest, but then they have no shortage of supplies. Back to Point Stanton. The Z is quiet. The journey is pleasingly uneventful. You've not been eaten by cannibal pirates. All things considered, a successful trip. Perhaps you can use the information you've gleaned. Few have reason to brave the waters this far east, especially with the trade embargo. The Admiralty will pay especially well for up-to-date intelligence. Delightful. The islands of the Empire, all of them warrant further attention. For now, though, it would be best to see if your initial discoveries can whet the interest of anyone back home. And for now, we have further planning that needs to be done. I did find Irem, and while our supply situation is not terrible, I still want to consider whether I want to push further north or just head south, in the hopes that maybe I'll hit them. Or even just head back. We've done quite a bit of exploring already. Either way, though, for now, thank you for your time. Note the like, comment, and subscribe buttons below. Use them responsibly, and I shall see you all soon.